Hey guys, happy Sunday. I am back because I decided I wanted to go ahead and start this little series because I believe it'll be more than one video long on how to build your baby's wardrobe. And due to the overwhelming number of questions that I get on a regular basis on where did I get different outfits? How did you know how to pair this and that with something that you currently have? Like how do you even go about starting a wardrobe for a doll? So I figured this would be a good time to kind of share how I've gone about it, and being that I've been buying for so long from being in the hobby for such a long period of time, well, it's kind of a natural thing for me at this point to buy certain pieces because I've already built the wardrobe over many years and streamlined it, figured out what it is I like. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get you started, and we'll start with the basics, but I'm also going to show you how I organize my dresser drawers with all of the baby clothes in which I have for Monroe or any other doll that's in my collection at any given time. So I've mentioned before that organization is the key for me to know what I have in order to put outfits together. So if I know everything that I have, it's kind of like how you arrange your own closet. Like if you don't see things in your closet and they're not able to be seen, you forget you have things, even though you think you won't forget. Trust me, you do. Even with the organization that I have in this nursery, I still occasionally forget that I have certain things because, I do rotate things and I put things away or put them in different places and, bring the most current season of clothing to the top of like each drawer so that I can, at a kind of a glimpse, I can see what's in the drawer. I can see what I have to choose from that goes with the season because I do rotate seasons and I dress my dolls according to the season and to the weather outside most of the time. But I have found that being able to see what you have is key to not buying something or duplicating it or buying excessive amounts of things and then not knowing what to do with them, because that is the trick for a lot of collectors, is that we tend to overbuy. How do we stop doing that? Know what it is we actually have currently in your nursery or wherever you store your baby's clothing. And I'm going to show you my way, but I know many other ways that you can organize the baby clothes that you have. And I apologize for the barking dog. My other half is coming and going because he's doing work outside, so it sparks my dog to bark. And I will try to get her to settle down. Hey, no more barking. Okay, so what I want to begin with is different ways you can organize and see everything that you do have. First of all, like every spring and every fall, I tend to go through what I have and take inventory so that I, one, remember the things I have going into the upcoming season. So for now, it's like going into winter season, I pull out all of my long sleeve onesies, my sweaters, knitwear, anything that I wouldn't have had her wearing during the summer in the warmer months. I will now pull everything out, reorganize, and look and see what I actually have, what I'm sick of seeing, and I will sell that, and then get an idea of what I'd like to, buy a couple of things to complete the looks that I want to put together for the upcoming season. And so when I do that, it helps me get a grasp on, okay, what do I currently have? So that you don't go out and buy something you already have, because I've done that. Early on in my early years of collecting, I just bought literally everything under the sun. And then I had no place to put everything. It was before I had a nursery. And I had just tubs of clothing and stacks of just folded clothes in a corner of my master bedroom where I kept my dolls. I had like a little corner nook area for, the dolls that I had at the time. And it was ridiculous. And I have become more and more OCD, need to organize, as I've gotten older, but it started a long time ago because I literally couldn't stand the clutter. And then I would forget what I have and I'd go out and buy something I already had, which was ridiculous. So then I was wasting money. So then I made a pact that I would, one, take a regular inventory, each upcoming season for either the winter or the summer months so that I knew what I had so I wouldn't buy it again or something too similar. And so that is the start of like building a wardrobe, is knowing what you have. Don't buy something you already have. Minimize the overspending and excess. Unless you've got loads and loads of room for baby clothes, which most of us do not. It's rare if a collector actually has like a ton of room, endless room to put their doll clothes in, because we want to fit our dolls in the space, So finding that organization or the way that it suits you so that you can see the clothing, organize it so it's not kind of all over the place. Some people like to use labeled tubs and different totes and things like that. I like that as well. For me, it was finding a really good size dresser and limiting what I can keep in my nursery to what I can fit in it. So that way, if it doesn't fit, I start cleaning things out and I start parting with things that I'm not using on anymore or aren't as big a fan of, or it's just not something that I like anymore, you name it. And then I have a couple of outfits that I hang on my little shelf on the wall. Just cutesy things here and there. So that's really it. If it doesn't fit in this dresser that you're looking at, it goes. That's my rule of thumb. It's the way that I've been able to keep the clothing purchasing to a minimum. And even though I've gone through periods of time where you guys see me do lots of hauls, I'm still buying things, but I make sure that I'm always parting with things when I get too many items. And I'm always very cautious to never buy the same thing unless I want multiples of them and it's done purposely. So the way that I approach my doll's wardrobe, and yes, I have one particular doll right now, but this applied even when I had multiple dolls. I still needed to fit them into this nursery into an organized way. So by giving yourself like a set amount of rules, it does help you keep from overspending and buying, needless items. So when you start building your wardrobe, I'm going to start with this top drawer here. This drawer is for tights, and it's not the most organized because I'm in the process of kind of cleaning it out and seeing what I need for winter. But this will give you kind of an idea of how I go about it. So tights and socks are rolled. There are two levels there, and if you hear outside noise, that's leaf blower, because we have shedding leaves all over the place. So apologize for the background noise. But these are going to be like knee-high socks, ankle socks, variations of socks. I have hand mitts here, and underneath there's layers of hand mitts there. These are new socks that I got from Jamie K. There's booties, more hand mitts, head bows, headbands, powders, the cloth that I use for powders, and underneath that is like a baggie of popular pacifiers I'm currently using. And then back further are more headbands, and underneath here is a layer of different bows and things for her hair. That's how I keep it organized. I can technically see most everything at a glance. There are two layers with the tights because I have so many different colors. So when I was talking about the Pretty Originals tights, I wanted to make sure that I could obtain as many colors of them as I could possibly get my hands on, because I knew they would sell out fast because they're very hard to find. So when you start with the basics, if you have baby girls, and even if you have multiple size dolls in your collection, start with one size. Begin with one size, work on completing like a wardrobe for that size, and then go to the next size. So that way you're not getting confused with what you're buying from one to the next. Do one, complete it, then move on to the other. And that way you don't have excess. If you're keeping it, reasonable, you don't buy multiples of, because I know most collectors, you go digging for something, think you can't find it, you go and buy it, and then later you find it and you're like, gosh darn it, I already had it. And that is really frustrating. And I've been there. So that's why, keeping things somewhat organized. This is a little bit messy and cluttered right now, but generally speaking, that's where I started with. Like, as you run across the staples that you want, like tights and socks, they're a big one. Tights, especially if you have baby girls. it's very hard to find tights that fit a newborn size properly. They're just huge around the feet. They don't have any like shape to them. So looking for the right ones, and when you stumble across them and purchasing them and trying to get them in multiple colors, I highly recommend it. When you wait, you miss out. And that's such a bummer, because I wished I'd gotten even more colors than I actually have, because I didn't buy them all. But now I'm kicking myself because I can't find certain colors that were available once to me. So that's how I go about that. So that's, you don't think of like staples as being socks and tights, but for me, those are staples. I know in the winter months that I put rompers on Monroe, and I want to have nice tights and knee highs so that I can pair them with the outfit. So I'm going to go over to this drawer, and this is mostly just tops and bodysuits, and they all fit in here, minus a couple of Jamie K ones that are new that are in the drawer below that I need to rearrange and pull out. And like, you know, some of this stuff I've had for forever, things that I want to hold on to that I don't necessarily have her wearing, but I still like them. So I keep them in this drawer, so that way I have all of my different onesies. So I have different collars, different colors, like everything has a purpose, everything is easily seen, and so on and so forth. Same with each row, like they all can be easily seen, so at a glance I see what I can quickly pair with different outfits that I want to pull out, and then I can go through and see what pairs well with them. I was talking yesterday about you know, finding the right color. I'm trying not to cast a shadow, but trying to find the right color. Let's see if I move over here. There we go. Onesie to go underneath the wool romper that I put on Monroe yesterday. Like finding the right shade is not easy. You know, this was too much of a warm color. So it's like warm tones, cool tones, stark white, grays. Those are your cool tones. Your beige, your soft white or cream colored or oatmeal colored, those are warm colors. So I try to keep in mind the way I would build my own wardrobe is I apply it to how I would build my baby's wardrobe. And I also mentioned yesterday how important it is to lay out the outfit prior to, well, I do it because I want to make sure I'm not overhandling Monroe, and I don't want to take outfits on and off of her just because I don't like the onesie I put on underneath it. It's too much wear and tear. It's easier on the doll if you just lay it out, pair it with the shoes, with the onesie, and lay it out like it would be on the baby, and it'll give you an idea of how it's going to look on the doll before you actually go through the process of dressing the doll. And so it makes it a lot easier to do it once and do it right and know you're going to like how it turns out, if that makes sense. That's how I've always done it, not just because I've had, you know, silicone dolls, just simply because I hate having to change a doll over and over again just because I didn't like the onesie underneath it. So then I will lay them out and layer it in the way that it would actually fit on the doll. But me showing you, like, having organization, being able to see, I will probably say it 1,000 more times as I talk about this. It is pertinent that you are able to see everything that you have, even if you just have to, you know, thumb through and see, okay, well, that one's the collar that I want, and I'm going to put it under something. But as long as you can see it so that you know what you're putting on your doll, and you pull it out and you can make your outfits. It's just so much more fun doing it that way than to trial and error on the doll. It really, really is. But key is seeing everything. If you don't see it, you don't know you have it. So that's the next step, I would say, to building like the basics in your wardrobe for your doll, is start looking for, if you like the detailed collars on onesies, those I will tell you are the best way to really spruce up an outfit on a doll that makes it just a little bit more special looking. I know a lot of people, for the longest time, it was very hard to find frilly collared onesies. Or you had to buy them from foreign companies, foreign, you know, baby clothing companies, because the US didn't really do a lot of like frilly collars. But luckily the US is slow to get on board, but you're seeing them more and more in the US companies and US, you know, brands. But I will tell you that I rarely will put a onesie underneath a sweater or romper that does not have a frilly collar or some sort of detailed collar to it, because I have learned that I like those details. And if you like the look, and it's more of a Spanish kind of look or a French kind of look, or let's just call it European kind of look, if you like that look, start looking at the brands you know sell those beautiful collared onesies, and you start with one. Start with one that you really love. If you have to spend a little bit more to have it, at least you have one really nice, pretty collared onesie that you can put and pair underneath your rompers, your dresses. You can put it under anything, and it will just add a little, just special touch. I'm telling you, it's such a beautiful finishing look to any outfit, is to have a nice, beautiful collared onesie. Like, for instance, one of my favorites that I don't ever get tired of looking at, and I'm going to pull one out because I can see them all quickly at a glance, is like the petal neck collar. And this is a Jacquerie onesie. Majority of my onesies came from Jacquerie, but you don't have to buy from Jacquerie. There are a lot of other brands now that are even, you know, they might be still, you know, European brands or Spanish brands, but you can find them very reasonable. You can find collared onesies now. Like Mayoral does a ton of them. They're very reasonable and they're very cute. And you can get pops of color. You know, some of them are embroidered, like you name it. They're frilly, they're pretty, and it's just a basic onesie. I prefer Jacqueries because I like how they fit Monroe. And I like that I can totally rely on the fit to be accurate. So these are perfect. But this is just one example. I have so many different variations of collared onesies that really, I'm telling you, as you build your baby's wardrobe, you want those special pops of just a little something. Here's a Peter Pan collar that has a little deer and leaves, I guess I would say. I'm not sure what that is. Also Jacquerie. But I have so many variations of different collared onesies. So whenever I have different wardrobes that I'm putting together, I rarely ever am without what I need. And that's the whole idea. So it only takes a couple. Like, that's why I say get a basic one that you really love that's maybe all white, because then it goes under more. So that's how I would begin with those. And it's building. Outfits, just like with your own wardrobe, you build the outfits. You kind of start with the basics and you just kind of add to them. One thing that we'll talk about real quick are sleepers. I have a bit of an obsession with sleepers. I have way more than one collector should ever have, even for multiple dolls. This is my drawer for sleepers. This is 2 layers deep, and this is not all of them. I have some more, and this is kind of the catch-all when I don't have room for things in other places. I have a couple that are laid out in here, folded differently, or that I didn't want to roll. So I use the method of rolling them, and then I have 2 layers deep. So there's another layer of rows underneath these, but these are the ones that I tend to use the most, that are the most popular, my go-tos, and I can see all of my favorites, so to speak, and what I would put on Monroe, including like my little Miss Dessa sets here, the fall favorites, and then I will rotate them depending on the season. So I'm about to rotate them again and pull out like the more wintry colors versus like the florals that you see here. That's my most favorite one that you guys see her in most frequently because I love it. That one stays on top no matter the season. But I have a little bit of, this big obsession with sleepers. I always am looking for new brands. I always try the stupid zipper sleepers that I always hate on dolls, unless they have straight legs, like just straight out. I don't like them. They don't fit, they bump up, so I keep buying them and then I give them away because I hate them. But anyways, I like the rolling method because then I know that, one, it keeps them less wrinkled. And it also is, I've tried many other ways to fold them in a way that I can see them all, and rolling them really is the best way. I can fit them most and see the patterns the quickest this way. But yeah, I should probably go through those and weed some out I probably will do that amongst my cleaning. I haven't done this drawer yet. But it's a season, you know, every fall, every spring, it's what I do. It gets me excited for the upcoming season, honestly. It's kind of crazy though. It's a lot of sleepers. It's a lot of sleepers for Monroe, and they're all her size. Because I only have her that I'm dressing regularly. So, you know, having a couple of sleepers to start with, you don't have to have a ton of them, but this is over years and years and years of buying sleepers that I like, or people gifting them to me even. Or they came with a doll that I really liked and set aside and wanted to have. But overall, that's the drawer with all the sleepers. Hold on, guys. Go lay down. Go. Get. Go lay down. Jeez. Sorry. The obnoxious dogs in the background. It's a busy day here. We're doing a lot of outside work because the sun's out. So anyways, sleepers. You know, gotta have them. It's great to have a bunch, but if you can do with less than what I've got, you're probably better off. But a lot of us do carry on and have a lot of sleepers. I think that's just really common because there's a lot of cute sleepers out there. And like, if you're like me, I like to buy the next 3 packs because there's usually like one or two, that's the max. I never like all 3, but there's usually 1 or 2 that I like. And so I'll buy the 3-pack, but then I don't know what to do with the 3rd one. So I usually set it aside or, you know, plan to give it away at some point in time or donate it or whatever. But that also contributes to my too many sleepers situation. But yeah, so that at least gives you an idea. That's that drawer. This next drawer I'm going to show you is the hot mess drawer currently. This is about as bad as it's going to get. And that's because I just have all these Jamie K stuff, which I have not organized yet. So the onesies will actually be folded and put into this top drawer. But some of them I'll leave on top because it's like technically summer because it's sleeveless, but I have sweaters to go with them. So what will happen is I will actually leave those on top because I will pair them with the sweaters, but I haven't yet had the time to do that. So you're going to see a mishmash of like sweaters. There's outfits in there, layers of Jamie K, but then underneath you're going to see all the jacquetie is underneath there, all of like the summer outfits that are there. I have to rearrange and go through and then relay it out. So that's about as messy as that drawer will get because just haven't had time, haven't gotten to it yet, but probably this week I'll get to it. And then I'll have everything that I want to pull for her outfits this winter all on top. And then what happens is, like with my rompers, like how do I keep them from being like wrinkled messes, is that I lay them all flat. And I lay them in a way that I can see everything if I just lift and see through them, you know, look through the pile. But with sweaters, I'll probably move the sweaters, not all of them, but some of them down to the bottom drawer because that's kind of the catch-all for excess, you know, sweaters, jackets, hats, all in the bottom drawer underneath this one. So I have a method that works for me. So far so good, it's worked. But me showing you all this and going through this is just showing like there's a way to kind of fit it all in. There's a way to organize it so you can see it. There's a way that you can organize it so that you know what you have and you can pull it and piece together your outfits as you go. And you would be surprised by just starting with, you know, a few onesies, maybe a couple of rompers, maybe a couple of sweaters, some socks and tights. That's the base of your wardrobe, and a couple of sleepers. Do we need outerwear for our dolls? Absolutely not, but I certainly have outerwear for mine. But some of it has been gifted, and some of it's just stuff I've acquired over the years that I love and I don't like to part with, and I just love certain, you know, if I see a beautiful newborn size, which is a rare bird, sweater or snowsuit that I love, I will buy it. And then I'll keep it for years and use it for years. That's just what I do. But ultimately, our dolls don't need, you know, they don't need snowsuits. They don't need pram suits. But I totally get it if you want to have one because I have them. But it's up to you. Those are not things that you need to build a wardrobe with right now. But if you take your doll out, of course you're going to want those things because you want it to be realistic. So this is a good start. To kind of the explanation is, you know, step one, organization. Figure out a way to organize everything that you have and start with one size doll. You start with the one, probably the most popular doll that you handle the most, that you love the most, start with that size. So if it's newborn up to 1 month, that's an easy size to buy for. If you have bigger dolls, tackle that size a little bit after you build the first wardrobe. If you have preemies, same thing. Pick whatever is the most popular that you want to build the wardrobe with first. And then once you've kind of gotten to a place where you're happy with it, then you start acquiring other things for the other size dolls that you have. It can be very overwhelming if you're buying all of it at once for all different size dolls. And that is one way to buy a lot of excess, way overspend, and then half the time people don't use what they have. So I am one about really thinking about utilizing what I have. If I don't want to put it on the doll, I don't keep it. I'll sell it or donate it or give it away or whatever. But my thought on this is always keeping Monroe's wardrobe fresh, but not having too many pieces, and still enjoying them. So by buying less pieces, you can buy a little bit more expensive items, which is how I've kind of built her, you know, what we call a little bit of a high-end wardrobe. I do buy a lot from Jacquerie. I do buy a lot now from Jamie Kay, and none are super cheap, let's put it that way. Next, I bought things here and there for them. I mostly buy sleepers only from Next because I don't care for their outfits. But for the most part, I love their sleepers in certain designs. And you'll find the brands that you really like. So if you like the collared onesies, look at Jacquerie. You can look at the Children's Salon. They sell a ton of mayoral and, oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of different lines of, you know, collared onesies that are very affordable, even though I will warn you, the Children's Salon is a range of very affordable on up to super, super expensive. But there's something for everyone there. And if you're just looking for onesies, look for onesies. They also have really cheap shoes that are European and super cute. We haven't even gotten into shoes. We'll get to that in a later video. And we'll get into how I actually put together my outfits also in a later video, because this is already going to be 30 minutes, I see. So what I will do is I'll wrap it up here, but this is a good start, is to get your space organized to be able to accommodate having your wardrobes. Try to go through and organize, take the time. Some of us are more organized than others, and that's, you know, I have OCD, so that's about as messy as you'll see it now. And I will show you real quick. In these bins are where all the shoes are. That is out only because that's the box that I have the shoes that Monroe's currently wearing in. But everything else, when they're in the box, they go back in the bin. So all of her shoes, all of them belong there. They're not anywhere else in the nursery. And that's where I hang certain outfits that I want to have out. So everything has a place. Makes it so much easier for me to know what I have. And it makes it easy to put outfits together once I do buy those special things. So I will be back with another video, guys. And we'll talk more about like actually putting the outfits together, how I pair them, where I find certain things so that you guys can find them and buy them as well. So I can give you some tips on locating those special items if you're going for a certain look. And hopefully this will at least get you started with somewhat of an idea of how to go about building that baby's wardrobe. And hopefully it's helpful for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I will be back with another video and I'll get more in depth, but this is just kind of a starting point. This is where it begins, and we'll see if I can help you guys build your baby's wardrobes, even if you've been buying for a while and you just want to change it up. This is a good way to also change up an existing wardrobe as well. So happy Sunday again, guys. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will be back very soon. So thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.